Critical Role is in the doldrums, a new Battle Royale tabletop RPG, and some big One Piece news.
Magnificent.
Welcome to Fantasy News Friday, our weekly look back at all these stories not quite big enough for their own video. Today we're talking about fan discontent in Critical Role, the latest tabletop RPG by Evil Hat Productions, and some big One Piece news that just about everybody in the world will like. Remember, if you like these kinds of videos, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons so we can keep on making them. Now, on to the news!
Issue number 1 is the first issue we're going to talk about.
Critical Role had something of a filler episode last week with one brief combat and the session devolving into rollsies for like 30 minutes at one point. Honestly, the biggest thing to come out of this episode wasn't the events of the episode itself, but rather that it attracted a lot of fan chatter about how Campaign 3 seems to be meandering a lot. Honestly, this isn't that much of a surprise, given that each campaign is hundreds of hours long and, not every episode is going to be a winner. Also, this campaign seems to be, in particular, trying to focus on covering the last bits of Exandria before a big shakeup in the world occurs, and sometimes it just feels like the cast is just along for the ride. Now, personally, I do think that Campaign 3 does have some pacing problems. This is partially caused by the changed schedule, dropping down to 3 times a month makes things feel a little bit more drawn out because, stuff that would usually take maybe a few weeks to resolve or like a month to resolve is now taking 5 weeks to resolve with that break week. Also, the nature of the campaign storyline itself has often put player characters in kind of a secondary role to the big cataclysm and the big events taking place. Hopefully Critical Role can get its act together. We're still enjoying the campaign, it just doesn't feel like appointment viewing like previous campaigns were.
How dare you!
Speaking of Critical Role, Dark Horse has announced that they are wrapping up their Mighty Nein Origins line of graphic novels, with books focused on Caduceus and Bow. Now, these graphic novels have done well for Dark Horse, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Bell's Hell's Origin line start up sometime in 2024. Just because the Mighty Nein Origins line is ending doesn't mean that Dark Horse's relationship with Critical Role is.
Nothing is over! Nothing!
Evil Hat Productions, the maker of the mega-popular tabletop RPG Blades in the Dark, has announced Deathmatch Island, a fast-paced role-playing game about a deadly game show on a chain of mysterious islands. Basically, it's a battle royale tabletop RPG in the style of Squid Game, or Control, or, Battle Royale, that Japanese movie that the entire genre is named after. Now, some of the quirks to Deathmatch Island is that players have skills focused on different aspects of reality game shows, like being a challenge beast or being proficient in social games. Players will also gain social media followers that impact the type of dice that you use in checks, which seems positively dystopian. It also appears that the game will try to balance either working together to overcome the battle royale as a group, like in Hunger Games, or turning on your teammates and turning things into a true survival of the fittest and making the tabletop just like Lord of the Flies. Also, players will be able to collect a variety of weapons, which, gives the entire game a little bit of a Fortnite feel to it. Blades in the Dark is a really fantastic heist-themed RPG that kind of helped define that genre of tabletop RPG, and I expect that Deathmatch Island will really help define the Battle Royale genre in a similar way. Now, if you're interested in Deathmatch Island, be sure to check out the crowdfunding campaign that kicks off next month on BackerKit.
So soon.
One Piece has been given the green light on Season 2. Netflix announced the news this week after 2 weeks of frankly exceptional viewership. In particular, One Piece has had a bigger global viewership than a lot of other Netflix series, which has to be great news for the streamer. Of course, next season will be an adaptation of the Baroque Works arc with beloved characters like Tony Chopper, Princess Vivi, and Nico Robin all making their debut in the series. Now, how will Netflix make a talking, form-changing reindeer work in a live-action show? Who knows? That's not my problem, that's theirs.
It sounds like a you problem.
And finally, Terraforming Mars is in hot water after revealing that their upcoming expansion will use AI artwork. Now keep in mind, Terraforming Mars has raised over $1 million in funds on Kickstarters for this latest expansion, so you'd think that they could afford an actual artist. Of course, the game's publisher has previously used clip art for Terraforming Mars, and, we'll keep in mind that Terraforming Mars is one of the most popular board games out there today. So honestly, while disappointing, the AI stuff, not exactly a surprise. So what do you think is the biggest story of the week? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.